Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Reincarnation, last night there was the 2nd anniversary livestream. As usual, I live blogged it. I have a community post on my channel, and so all the information is there, but this video will be sort of about like my reactions, and then talking about stuff that I didn't address in those posts. Anytime there is a live stream, I will announce it on a community post, and then I'll live blog it there, so you can have a look at that if you like. I often give a warning to non-Japanese speakers before the live stream about keeping cool in the chat, but people always get angry when I do that, and I thought, well, besides spoilers, what's the worst that could happen? But there was some particularly embarrassing behavior this time, which just stresses the importance of those warnings, so I'll keep doing them in the future. As just one mind-blowing example, I saw people making fun of how much they were saying "hai," and I was like, wow, you don't know the first thing about Japanese culture. But as a quick explainer, it's typical and moreover polite in Japanese conversation to say "hai" or something similar here and there in conversation as a listener, because it shows you're paying attention, and it shows you're understanding what the speaker is saying, and it reassures the speaker. There's even a proper term for this, aizuchi. And depending on if you are speaking to someone like above you or below you on the hierarchy, or within your organization or without it, there are different words and phrases that you use as aizuchi. And if you know the right timing of when to use it when someone else is speaking, that means your Japanese is pretty good. And if you don't use aizuchi when you listen to someone, it's rude. You seem like aloof, like you're too good to pay attention, or else you come off as kind of dull, like you don't know when to say the aizuchi. And then you leave the speaker hanging, they lose confidence in what they're saying. And also, by putting in those little expressions, the voice actor for Mama, she was breaking up the list of announcements from director Matsukawa, adding a little variety to the tone of the presentation, so it kind of wakes us up every time, and making the atmosphere feel more like a conversation rather than the rote reading of a list. The Mama voice actress was basically just acting as the MC. So that's that. I want to stress it's fine to not know these cultural things, and that's part of the reason why I'm here, to act as a bridge between Japan and the rest of the world, explain why things are the way they are with the backdrop of games. I just wish people weren't so belligerent in their ignorance. When one non-Japanese speaker acts like an ass, it reflects on all of us non-Japanese speakers. It's not fair, but it is what it is, so I hope people are more careful. Anyway, I felt this livestream was pivotal for the future of the game. I talked about this in my pre-2nd anniversary news video. I've been following the Japanese mobile game industry for almost 10 years now, and most games do not make it to the 2nd year anniversary. And so from launch, I was skeptical this game could make it because so much of it was atypical for a mobile game, and yet, here we are. So this is already reason to be happy. Sales are not great, but I talked about this being a cheaper game to produce, and producer Saito and Yoko Taro being secret weapons that can use their power and influence to keep the game going beyond when it is reasonable is a reason to feel confident about the future of the game. But the volume and nature of the announcements here in the livestream also reassured me. Previously, I gave the game a 65% chance to make it to 3rd anniversary, but I'll up it to 75 based on the announcements here. I don't want people to think that I am gloom and doom. I'm just playing the odds based on what I've observed in this industry. Of course, I hope the game goes 3 years, 4 years, or more, but I don't want to guarantee anything and get people's hopes up unnecessarily. I'm not here to sell anything. But I do feel good about the future of the game. Okay, let's get to the announcements. First, Handout 063Y should be a 4-star. My guess was Livonia, if you saw my anniversary predictions video. But this actually follows the pattern that I laid out in that video, where story pairs are split up to different anniversaries, one free, one hatcher. So, when I saw 063Y as a handout here, I knew that F66X wasn't going to be a banner costume this time. It's funny, thinking about that video now, like I laid out the pattern for how they split up the story pairs, but my predictions didn't follow my own pattern, so oh well. But yeah, it'll be cool to get 063Y. His hat looks very small, which is not surprising. I talked about this in a previous video, the Griff fashion check video, but I just feel like general awareness about the correct size for hats is not very widespread. It's like lost knowledge. But I'm gonna wait until we get this character in the 3D viewer, because like Anniversary Griff, his drawing also, the hat looks small there. But in the 3D viewer, it's a little bit better, so I'll wait until I see the 3D version before passing judgment on 063Y's hat. Very important. Okay, next we have the banner units, Udil, Sarafa, and Lavanya. I called Sarafa a lock in my predictions video, and sure enough, there she is. No word on what any of these characters do, but I expect one of them to be a top-tier light attacker, just in time for the new content game mode that they announced. And by the way, I was thinking the delay of the Gale Recollections of Dusk quests could have a negative effect gameplay-wise on Global, and this could be it. New content where light element weapons will be good, and then we won't have that light element short sword before that event ends. It probably won't mean Global players can't clear the content without it, but yeah. I still think they should have released the quests with just the Japanese voice acting, if only to make the sword available on time. Next, Handout 2B. This was a surprise. But along with featuring a lot of automata and replicant characters on the Japanese Twitter account recently, I think this handout is an appeal to new players, which is smart. One of the keys to the long-term success of a mobile game is a constant inflow of new players, and this will help because even folks who have never played a Nier game know 2B. I'm personally still waiting on the awakenings of the original handout 3 stars. Hopefully we get those someday. And then there is a new handout pod. These are both login bonuses. Has a new skill, an element in peril. That should be pretty powerful. And I'm guessing it's going to be light or dark element to use in the new game content. And speaking of that new content, this is another PvE mode. No news on PvP Arena, no changes or no new modes. Not that I was expecting anything there. But we'll wait until we actually get into the quests to see how they play. But it looks like it's going to be like another tower or Recollections of Dusk in a new shape, which is fine. That's my favorite content anyway. It seems to emphasize the importance of healing, which is an interesting focus. Maybe the bosses will like negate attacks for 60 seconds, or like 100 hits or something, and then staying alive until that wears off is going to be key. And this might be to combat the power creep of these crazy attackers recently released, where we can basically just skip content by just doing a ton of damage. And then, along with these quests, they announced like a higher level cap, and then we can get the materials to do that by beating those new quests. And then the new max levels for the characters and weapons will be 100. So the higher level cap finally comes to Nier Reincarnation. The 2-year mark I feel like is typical when that jump comes to mobile games. And then I feel like if this game were in trouble and was shutting down soon, they wouldn't bother with this upgrade. So this also makes me feel better about the future. It's no guarantee, but it does help, I think. The thing about this, however, is that it looks like simple, pure stats are added. No new abilities, so I'm kind of like, bleh. It's just another thing to do like slabs before we get to the new standard. And then for the weapons, they said that some would like get new barriers for the Recollections of Dusk, and then other weapons would get new skills. And new skills I think would be fun and interesting, but apparently only the Blackhorn weapons get them so far, so that's disappointing. I was hoping for like some launch weapons to become more usable, even if only in a niche way, but it doesn't look like it. I'll play the quests, you know, because I expect to enjoy them, but I might not level anything until I feel like I really need it. I can beat all the towers, you know, I can get SSS scores and subjugations, I can beat all the Recollections of Dusk, so I don't think I'm going to need the power crept stuff. Except, there will be debris for taking a character to 100. That sounds interesting and useful, so I will probably choose to level or raise the level cap for characters depending on what debris I want. But yeah, I'm still more excited by the kind of the periodic buffs that they do to old characters, and there should be another batch of those at the end of this month, February. And then subjugations will be updated with possible scores higher than SSS 10, they said SSS plus, and then a higher difficulty level, stage 5. I don't know how much I'm going to play these. I was happy with my SSS 1 scores, and it sounds like that there are no new rewards to exchange for, like different Blackhorn weapons. But, if they release missions, I talk about playing 2 missions, like clear a stage 5, subjugations 5 times, and then get some books, I'll do that. But yeah, beyond the missions, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of motivation to play these. Alright, and then they did a whole bunch, it was kind of like a variety show after they presented the news. Part of it was alternative concept art that they did not end up using. I'm showing a Priet here, but they showed all of the Sun and Moon characters. You can check out the live stream, I'll link to that below. And then they looked at the chat to see which of these alternative costumes the chat liked, and maybe they will use them as a basis for future costumes for characters. And then they showed another trailer for the new Man and the World storyline. I will do a separate video kind of analyzing that new trailer, but in the live stream they gave a hint. Pay close attention to which characters are featured in the trailer. Okay, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.